Hello, Scriggles. My name is Jennifer Hammat, and I am the Dean of Students here at the University of Southern Indiana. I just have a few things to cover with you prior to classes starting. Hopefully this isn't new information to you, but I just wanted to go over a couple of things. If you have questions about this when it's over, you can always email us or call us at the Dean of Students office. If you want to email us, it's deanofstudents@usi.edu. And if you want to call us, our number is 812-464-1862. There's information I'll show you in the presentation as well. But I just want to go over a couple of things before classes start. We are located in the University Center East in Suite 1256. So not the side with the Campus Store and Chick-fil-A and Subco, the other side. If you go to where the fireplace is, if you go through those double doors and hang a right, you will see the Dean of Students office and the Center for Campus Life. We're two offices in one shop. These are just some of the things that we tend to in our office. APB is out of our office, the Activities Programming Board. Care team, I may have mentioned to you before. I know I talked to your parents about this. If you are concerned about a fellow student and think they may be going through something, maybe it's a roommate conflict or a review, maybe they're struggling to go to class, they're not sure about their major, they're homesick, any number of things that you don't feel it's your place to intervene, but you think somebody should probably check on them, you can call us here at the Dean of Students office, and we are happy to intervene on your behalf. The Code of Student Conduct is managed out of this office. What that means is that sometimes policies are, violent happens. Students are often referred to our office to have a conversation about what's appropriate conduct on campus. If you're not sure where to find a resource, whether you're looking for a tutor or you don't know which office to go to make a payment, we connect students to campus resources all the time. We try to slow the shuffling of students from one office to the next. So typically we know the answer to most questions. Part of that's just to make sure that if you don't know where to go, you can come to this office and we'll help you find the solution. What else do I want to talk about? Fraternity and sorority life is beginning to start recruitment. If you are interested in looking at fraternities or sororities to join, the women's groups will be starting up very soon. The men's groups are a little bit later, but you can get information on that on the Center for Campus Life website. We are also the office tasked with contact tracing for students during the pandemic. So if you are identified as a close contact, if you yourself become sick, this office coordinates those efforts, make sure that a contact tracer reaches out to you. Faculty also will notify us if you as a student leave a class because you're not feeling well, or you let them know that you think you may be symptomatic. A lot of times faculty will let us know that as well. Students often have emergencies on campus. So sometimes that could be you twist an ankle while you and a friend are running, or maybe you're playing intramurals and you fall down and twist your wrist or something like that. Sometimes students get sick and have to be transported to a hospital. That could be for, gosh, an appendicitis or any number of things. I mean, students get sick all the time. During non-pandemic times, someone from our office usually goes to the hospital to check on folks. During the pandemic, they're really not letting people just meander around through the hospitals. So we tend to follow up with students by email or call just to see if you're okay once we know you're back. Families can always call. So if your parents feel like they need to get answers to questions and you don't have those answers, feel free to send them to us. We're happy to talk to them as well. Student government is housed out of this office, as well as student involvement, student leadership activities. We have over 150 registered student organizations here. So if you haven't found the thing you're looking for, we are having an organization fair beginning of September. We also want to make sure that if you are struggling in a class academically and you're not sure you're in the right class or the right section or whatever that case may be, let us know so we can help you with that as well. Contact information for these two offices. The assistant dean is Lori Berry. Our assistant director for student conduct and outreach is Brittany Orth. The coordinator for student support and case management is Krista Willoughby, and our administrative associate is Heather Southworth. In the Center for Campus Life, Jenny Garrison is the associate director. We are currently on the hunt for the coordinator for fraternity and sorority life. So Jenny and Nathan are tending to that right now while we're actively searching for that position. Nathan Payne is our coordinator for student activities, and Shelby Walters will be joining us next week to be our graduate assistant for LGBTQIA+ communities here in the Center for Campus Life. Real quick, I want to talk to you about some changes that have happened to Title IX here on our campus. This is the main page for our Title IX response here on campus. Let me pull this over here. So if you go to usi.edu/sexual-assault-prevention-and-response, that will take you to the university's Title IX page. You can also go to the search bar and type in Title IX, and it will take you to this page. This red button at the top of the page is where you report any concerns about sexual misconduct or sexual harassment that happens here on the campus. I do want to let you know our interim Title IX coordinator is Beth Devonshire. Beth's been with us since this summer. Fantastic Title IX coordinator. I know that you all have had a lot of training on Title IX, probably middle school and high school. The thing that I would say is a little bit different here is that sometimes there's miscommunication, right? Sometimes people don't know how to talk about providing affirmative consent for every activity every time. Sometimes college students think they're on the same page when they're not on the same page. And sometimes people think they're being very clear with nonverbal cues, and those don't land as well hardly any of the time as verbal cues do. So actually using your words. Damian Doss is our deputy Title IX coordinator. Some of the things we've changed this year, I'll start at the top. We changed the name of the policy because we weren't confident that students were aware of everything that was captured in our Title IX policy. So that includes sexual harassment, sexual assault, dating violence, domestic violence, and stalking. If you're not sure if what happened to you or to your friend fits in that category, you can always click that button for reporting. You can also talk to a confidential resource on campus. Our counselors in the Counseling and Psychological Services, or CAPS area, that's in the Orr Center, they're confidential employees. The folks over in the University Health Center in the basement of the Health Professions Building, they're also confidential employees. So if you want to talk to someone confidentially and know that that won't be reported anywhere, those are the two offices I would recommend you go to. You can also reach out and say, hypothetically, if this happened to my friend, is that something that we would report to Title IX? I'm always happy to answer your hypothetical questions. But we felt like changing the title was a good place to start. We've also modified the scope and jurisdiction. That new policy is going to be published and available for students to review on Monday. We have expanded the prohibited conduct and definitions. In terms of the reporting, obviously the Title IX coordinator and deputy is where you would report things for formal review. We do have a lot of different support measures in university response. One of the things our Title IX coordinator said at the university-wide meeting we had just the other day to the faculty was, individuals don't violate Title IX. Universities violate Title IX when they fail to provide an appropriate university response. And again, individuals can be found responsible for violating that Title IX policy. But what I have found over the years is that sometimes students simply want someone to provide them with support. They want to be able to talk to a counselor, or maybe they want to see if they can change their residence because the person they had a problem with lives in the same building. Students are in charge of determining if they want to go forward with a formal complaint in consultation with that Title IX person. We're not going to make you do anything, but in terms of the coordination of those support measures, you need to work with the Title IX office to achieve that. We do have formal and informal grievance procedures that'll be detailed in the policy as well. And then, you know, we address things that happen on campus, but we'll also look at things that happen off campus. So I don't want you don't need to have all of the answers when you bring forward your question. You can just say, hey, I have a question about this. I'm concerned about this. Could I talk to someone about what's happening? Title IX is the office for that. On this side of the page, I also want to point out you will be sent an email. You may have already received it. In fact, it is an EverFi Title IX training module that will go to your @eagles.usi email. Write this down. You got to check your email every day. All official university communications go to that account. Failure to not check your email is on you. It doesn't give you any outs. It doesn't give you any do-overs. If you fail to make a deadline, if you that's where we're going to remind you to go register, all those kinds of things. So you have to make that your primary source of email right now with regard to university communications. So we'll send you the training to that email address. There's a time frame that we expect you to complete that in. Failure to complete it within that time frame is going to put a hold on your account, and you're not going to be able to register for your classes for the spring. So as soon as you get that email about the Title IX training, please complete that and submit that so you don't get a hold on your account accidentally. Talked about this a little bit. The Title IX office is where you're going to go to complete that form. The other way you can report something is if you have not downloaded the Rave Guardian app, R-A-V-E, Rave Guardian app, I'd strongly encourage you to do that. You're not going to be able to see that. The very top corner there, that's the Rave Guardian application. When you open it up, it says USI Public Safety. Okay. You can fill out anonymously on this. You can report that something's happened. If you are walking home from class one night and you want to make sure you get there safely and you want someone to know that you're walking there, you can just click on the timer and it will automatically alert someone you've predetermined. That can be a roommate or a suite mate or a best friend to say, hey, I'm walking back from the library. I should be there in 12 minutes. It's much more, it's basically a GPS on your phone, which is a lot easier to get to than a blue light. So that's why we like that. If you want to report a Title IX matter to the Department of Public Safety, you can do that. If you're in an emergency situation, please go ahead and put this number into your phone, 812-492-7777. That will dispatch public safety to your location. If it's a non-emergency and you want to talk to them about a situation that maybe happened on campus or off campus, I would recommend the non-emergency number. That's 812-464-1845. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if you're interested in confidential reporting, you can do that at the University Health Center or Counseling and Psychological Services. Starting this fall, once employees have completed their training module, you'll start seeing these little door decks here on the right that says Title IX Responsible Employee. I'm happy to explain campus resources, but please know I have a duty to report incidents of sexual harassment misconduct to the Title IX office. These are the things that if you report to a faculty member, a staff member, an administrator, that they should check on. Number one, are you safe? Number two, anything that you share with them in terms of the who, what, when, where of a situation, they have to report to the Title IX office. They are not investigators. They will not investigate whatever you're telling them. Part and parcel to that, they cannot guarantee your confidentiality because as soon as they're done talking with you and providing you resources and making sure you're safe, they have to submit that information to the Title IX office so they can reach out to you to see if you need those support measures we discussed earlier and see if you need medical attention, see if you are interested in filing a formal grievance or an informal grievance. But one of the things that I know is that students often trust one or two faculty members very much, and that may be the person that you choose to reach out to if something happens to you or to a friend. So just know that that's a resource that's available to you as well. Let's talk a little bit about COVID-19 protocols. I'm going to pull up 3 websites for you really quickly so you know where to find them. They will be included in this. This is the university's COVID resource page. Okay, so if you have concerns about where to get vaccinated, this is where we update all of our information. So you can always check our website. Every day when I get to the office, I also go to the Indiana State Department of Health's website. This shows you kind of how each of the counties are doing. It talks to you about the metric score, cases per resident, all test positivity rate. I do that because I like to look down here where the little drop down, that's the second county from the left. So I like to check on Vanderburgh County. I like to check on the counties around us because that's important to me. I like to look at the test results and the positivity rates and just see what that looks like every day and see if there's any new information that's been brought out by the State Department of Health. And then, of course, the CDC website has been our North Star through this process. It's been our guiding light in terms of how we verify and document information. So I did want to provide those 3 websites to you in terms of kind of our benchmark location in terms of decisions we make here. I also want to let you know that there's about 120 people working. There's a student affairs task force. There's an operations and logistics task force. We have special events and programming task force. And all of those different entities report up through the task force. There's also a steering committee. These are the same people who've been working on pandemic recommendations for almost 18 months now. A couple of things to cover. You are required to take the COVID-19 training module that will also be mailed to your @eagles.usi account. Failure to comply. Let me talk a little bit about that. So you have to wear a mask indoors all the time, okay? If you are living in a residence hall and it's you and your roommates, that's different. But if you are in a public space, classroom, building on campus, recreation, fitness, and wellness, Starbucks, wherever it is on campus, you have to wear a mask if you're indoors. If you're in a classroom and let's say you forgot your mask, you lost your mask, somebody stole your mask. In each building that has academic courses, there will be a disposable mask station. They'll be in different places depending on the building. So if you get to a class and someone says, hey, I noticed you don't have your mask on. Did you forget it? Did you lose it? Did whatever? You look everywhere and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have one with me. Excuse yourself, cover your mask with your face, with your arm, go downstairs, get a mask, come back to class, you're good. If you have philosophical opposition, you will first be asked to go get a mask. If you refuse and say, you know, that's it, I'm never wearing a mask, you can't make me, you know, I'm fighting the power, whatever. Public safety will be called. You'll probably be removed from class for failure to comply. It's entirely probable that a referral will be made to our office for that failure to comply. Repeated problems with masking could certainly lead to you being removed from a class. If you can't be compliant with the parameters we have in place, then that could also be justification to put you in online classes only. Nobody wants to do that, but the masking is what we have to do right now to try to keep ourselves safe. If you feel sick, if you start experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, first and foremost, I need you to leave campus. I need you, or at least need you to go back to your residence. If you live here, I need you to go back to your residence on campus. If you're commuting, I need you to go home. I need you to fill out the self-report form so a contact tracer can get in touch with you. as long as you're not feeling well, I need you to quarantine and isolate yourself. And the reason I put quarantine and isolate is depending on where you are, you may either quarantine or isolate, depending on your vaccination status and your symptoms. It's true that you can still contract COVID-19 if you've been fully vaccinated. But there are benefits to being vaccinated, especially as it relates to being in close contact and not having to quarantine. All of those details will be in that training you have to take. Some of you don't know how to wear a mask, so I've included this. When you put on a mask, we like for it to be at least 2-ply. Everyone will get one of these. It does have the little nose piece in here. You want to place that over your nose. You want to put those little ear thingies around your ears. It needs to cover your nose and your mouth. Saw a lot of this yesterday. I can't breathe if it's over my nose. The viral load on the Delta variant is 1,000 times more likely to spread. It is twice as contagious as the Alpha variant. If your nose is out, besides spitting on people, it's not going to provide you the level of protection you need. And if your nose is sticking out, then when we start to contact trace anyone you've been around when your nose was peeking out also has to go into quarantine. Okay. So I need you to cover your mouths and your noses. I know it's hot. I know it's August. Trust me when I say I get hot too, but we can't have the partial covered. If you've been wearing the same mask for weeks, first of all, ew. Second of all, you need to wash them regularly. Well, but I've gotten this elastic stretched out so it's not close to my face. If it's not close to your face, then it's not working, right? So I need you to review this. This is also part of your training, but I want to make snugly against the sides of your face. Completely covering the mouth and nose, fitting snugly against the side of your face. Again, that nose wires to keep the particles from flying up through the top. Some of you may have excuse me, may have like a bandana or something like that. Again, you're looking for 2 or more layers of breathable fabric. We really prefer it to be more closely on your face. If you purchase one of the masks that has those little vents, those are not really recommended anymore because it does let particulate matter out. And then of course, those N95 masks, healthcare providers really need those. My dad always used to tell me that life was about choices and consequences. That has never been more true than it is right now. We want you here. The choices you make when you are not in class or not on campus affects all of us. If you are careless and act as if the pandemic is over, and let me be very clear, pandemic's not over. The numbers we will see in the next 2 weeks will likely be as high as they were last November when we were at the height of our numbers with the Alpha variant. If you are careless and the virus spreads rapidly or voraciously, then that severely limits the number of options we have available for keeping you safe. If you know people who are not wearing masks, if you know people who are hosting large gatherings, this is one of those times where it's absolutely okay to tell. I had a couple of groups reported to our office today that they were planning on hosting large events. Can't have it. Can't have super spreader events. We cannot have that. If you don't know someone who's had this, give it a couple weeks. You will. If you have not lost anyone to this, consider yourself blessed. We have done everything in our power to get you here, and we want to continue to keep you here. But we're not out of this yet. And to act as if we are, to make those kinds of choices will have severe and damaging consequences. it's been a long 18 months for folks. And I know that, and I know people are tired of this, and I know they're over it. Problem is this virus isn't over with us. So I really need you to make good choices. I need you to make good decisions. I need you to mask up. If you don't feel well, I need you to stay home. I need you to fill out that self-report form. And I need you to let us help you navigate what that looks like if your friends get sick, if they become positive and you're a close contact. We will do our very best to make sure that your faculty work with you and make sure that you stay caught up in class as best you can. But wearing your mask indoors is the single best thing you can do outside of getting vaccinated. That is the single best thing you can do to reduce the chance that you'll get it. But if you get it, it also substantially reduces the likelihood that you'll be hospitalized or die. And I'm knocking on my desk here because we've been fortunate that hasn't happened. If you have questions about the masking mandate, we're the office you get to call, 812-464-1862. Again, we're located in the University Center East, Suite 1256. This is our social media, and these are our web pages. Feel free to check us there, to follow us. We're over the moon excited that you're back. Last year was a difficult year, and we didn't get to do nearly as many fun things. So we have a lot of things planned for you, a lot of things outdoors that are planned for you, so you don't have to be behind those masks, and you can make those connections, and you can not have that isolated feeling that maybe you've had. Please be safe. Please make good choices. Please do your part to stay here, because no one else is going to protect this nest. It has to be us. We have to be the ones to do it. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. Enjoy your first week of classes. Enjoy UNIV 101. It's a great class, and you learn a lot about the university. And if we can do anything for you, please let us know. This office is here to help you. We're your #1 fans, and we're the folks who advocate for you day in and day out. So please let us know if we can be of service to you. Thank you so much for your time. Welcome to USI.